fund about 90% of those applications. Minimum of $5,000, maximum of 20. Because again of the limited funds, we probably leaned a little bit more towards the lower end of the scale, not quite as many approved at the higher end. Some of the businesses that did not get funded in the previous rounds were successful this year, although we still have to get them approved at the regional level. So this is a little bit tentative, but hopefully our recommendations will be approved at the regional level. Lots of hair salons, lots of daycare centers, lots of restaurants, virtually all different kinds of businesses, pretty much every geographic area of the county. But if you were to do a breakdown, I think we could say that the higher volume of applications, definitely Caro, Cass City, Vassar, and Millington. So the official results probably will not be released until September 1 or later. And there is a little paperwork and grant agreements and things like that. But overall, we were very impressed with all the assistance we had in marketing. And, some of this money, I think, is definitely going to be a major benefit. For the larger businesses, it may not be that impactful, but certainly will help. Just one other quick item. I don't have all the details, and Steve will maybe give us an update later, but apparently we have a new restaurant that will soon be opening in the downtown district. I don't think I can give you the official name unless some of you might already know it, but it would be Italiano in nature. So be prepared to add some more good Italian cuisine to your future menus. And that's all I've got for today, unless anybody has any questions.
Well, we appreciate that, Jim. I'm looking forward to some garlic bread.
I think we can get you some delivered within 1 hour of their grand opening, well, as long as your dog doesn't get to it first.
Yeah, she's picky about what she eats. I don't know why, but
okay.
One thing I'm missing about these meetings is I feel like I don't have my lunch compadres right now.
I feel exactly the same way.
We'll be able to splurge next year with our budget because we didn't have that in for some of these meetings. We'll have to make a note for that.
So noted.
All right. So now on to the financial report. What do we have there?
Okay, you guys all should have the financial report in your packets. As you can see, the starting fund balance was $450,477. The year-to-date revenues over expenditures is negative 3,406. Wait, let me see what number we got. 346,962. Leaving your fund equity at 103,514. We received the DDA tax capture revenue. It came in at 128,000, which is slightly higher than last year. The reason we're in the negative so much is because we're expecting that 920,000 from MEDC for the farmers market, but that's showing up in segments, and we didn't technically receive any of that in the last fiscal year. We did receive a check a few weeks ago for a portion of some of the properties that we bought, but we're going to see those that revenue show up in the next fiscal year. So the fund balance should equal itself out at the end of this next fiscal year. And to date, in that fiscal year of ending in June 30th, we've spent $342,000 on the farmers markets thus far.
And that's supposed to start demolition. When is that supposed to be? I see the groundbreaking took place.
Yep. They're supposed to start demoing the buildings next week.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep, they've got the security fence up, and they were waiting for consumers to disconnect the gas. We got that taken care of at the end of last week, and now they're gonna start ripping and hauling.
And are we gonna, I mean, obviously with the whole COVID stuff, that put us way behind the mark. Is there still any issues about making the timeline? Cause I know we were kind of thinking towards the end of this year, they had to be kind of so much completed. Did we get extensions on that stuff due to everything that's going on this wonderful year?
Yeah, we've applied for grant extensions through the MEDC, and we're still thinking they'll be pretty close to finished in December, but with the administration of the grant, we asked for an extension for a year. So,
And no issues granting that?
and not that I'm aware of, we haven't received response yet, but we kind of gave them advance notice and spoke to them beforehand, and they were completely on board with it. So we just have to wait to hear the official okay on that.
I just don't want to have our hands out there. I mean, ultimately, you would think they would work with that on this type of situation. So
Yeah, I think they're pretty understanding.
I would hope so at this stage. Nothing's going according to plan this year. So that's it for the financial report. Do we have to have a motion to approve the financial report?
Yes, we normally do.
So do I have a motion for the financial report, the June 2020 report?
I move that we accept the financial report.
I'll second that.
Okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. Downing is absent. Ferris,
Yes.
Hall. Don Hall. You're muted.
Yes, sorry about that.
Kuhn is absent. Moore is absent. Ozentowski,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes.
Bardwell,
And yes.
and Bauerschmidt's absent. Okay. That's all.
All right, on to public comment. Do we have anybody that wants to make public comment at the stage? I think we heard from Jim earlier. I just want to give a congrats out there to Mr. Bardwell for a campaign being reelected. So
Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that and can continue to represent you, and certainly anything you need, just always, as always, just let me know. But thanks for that.
appreciate your services, definitely. Keep up the good fight over there. So now on to business items. The LED streetlight retrofit kits.
Yeah, so as I'm sure you're aware, the DDA has been retrofitting the streetlights downtown, and City Council approved an expense at their July 17th meeting for $10,118.29 to, I believe, finish that project. We got 30 kits and 120 acrylic lenses that the DDA is paying for, and so the DPW is going to work on getting all those retrofitted for us. So I guess it's kind of a retroactive thing since council already approved it, but we're asking the DDA to I guess confirm that purchase. It really just kind of shores up the process for it.
We need a motion to, I guess, are we, it's not approving, we'd be in support of city's
Yeah,
decision, correct?
yeah.
So do we have a motion to support the city's decision on finishing, I guess, the remainder of the kits that we needed to for the lights?
I'm not sure why we're supporting something that's already been approved.
I was wondering that too. I just don't know. Do we need that for our records? Would that be something that would be, because usually
We're not even involved.
not at this stage anymore.
No.
No, you guys have gone back though and retroactively supported things that council has done before. So just keeping in line with that, seeing as you guys always initiate the lights purchase, wanted to make sure you guys were okay with that continuing. Putting the lights in and, I mean, the money
I'll
comes
move that.
from the DDA, so the DDA should approve that purchase.
I move that we support that.
Support.
Now we do the roll call. So I don't have to ask for all in favor, do I?
Right. Ferris,
Yes.
Hall,
Yes.
Coons absent, Moore's absent, Ozentowski,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes,
Bardwell, Downing's absent, Bauer Schmidt's absent.
No,
Okay.
I'm here.
Mhm.
All right, now on to well, we got a brief update just a little bit ago, the farmer's market update.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on the highlights a little bit before when we were speaking about it. The groundbreaking went off last week or the week before. There were quite a few people there. We had quite a few dignitaries there. The demolition will start next week. They had the fence erected to keep people out. Consumers and DTE have removed their meters, and so that leads the way for our contractor to go in and start ripping down the buildings that need to be moved. So that's going to start next week. You'll start seeing crews out there taking things down and leveling it out. So that's going to be a big improvement to the progress of that project. So it'll become obvious to everybody that we're working on it. So like I mentioned before, we did ask for a grant extension because of COVID. We weren't able to start when we needed to. The bids went out a little later than we expected them to. So obviously everything is kind of shifted a little bit, but we're on track to complete the project. It wasn't put on hold or anything. The money was still allocated, so there's no danger of that, evaporating before the end of the project. So it's still a go, and we're excited to see it move.
Fantastic. It's good to finally see that take place.
Yep.
That was a long battle. So, all right, now on to number 3, the mule.
Yeah, so the DDA a little while ago purchased a new side-by-side to replace the mule. And I think I wasn't here at that time, but it was my understanding that the assumption would be that we would either get rid of the mule or sell it or whatever the case was. But the DPW has actually found use in that mule. So they've been putting a little bit of money into it to get it up to snuff. And with the seasonal workers they've got, they've been using that as an extra mode of transportation for the guys. So essentially what I'm here to talk about basically is that the DPW is interested in continuing to use it. We just wanted to kind of give a heads up or sort of ask the DDA what, if anything, you need in return to transfer it to the DDA or to the DPW, or if it suffices for them to just pay for any of the upkeep of it instead of the DDA. They're just using it as transportation for the seasonal workers at the moment, and they are paying out of their budget to have anything fixed that breaks. And I was actually able, on my phone, I texted Jeff about the information on it. It was from 2005, and it's got 2,200 hours and 8,000 miles.
8,000 miles.
what's the downside?
I guess the only downside is that we got to put money into it to make it work, but it's been pretty useful for the DPW.
Yeah,
The only issue is that, well, the DDA paid for it back in the day. Technically, the city owns it, so I guess we're just trying to be courteous and advise the DDA that we've continued to use it. It's really no expenditure from the DDA's budget at this point because we're using it for other things and paying for anything that breaks out of the DPW's coffer. So
No, I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, you got a utility vehicle to use and they have a use for it. I mean, we're technically all one and the same entity.
Yeah.
It's just, on paper we're not, but in all reality, we are all the same. So that makes sense. That's a lot of miles on it as well. So that seems like a lot of miles compared to hours. So, I mean, if they're maintaining it, the only thing I think we do lose is if we sold it, we'd be able to put that funds back into the DDA, wouldn't we?
Correct.
Whatever that would be.
Yeah,
But,
so you're really only out whatever loss you would have made from the sale of it.
yeah, and realistically, with that many hours and that many miles, you're only looking at, I mean, a few $1,000s, and that in the grand scheme of things isn't really, I don't think it's worth it to really do anything besides let them use it and then maintain it. I mean, but does, the city actually already owns it. So, I mean, the title's already in their name, so there's nothing to transfer, correct?
right.
Right.
So, I mean, if we need it, we can have it back to use where we don't have to get charged for rental or equipment rental, correct?
Sarah?
That would be a thing you'd have to work out with DPW.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So, any other questions, gentlemen, on that topic? Any other concerns that might come up with that? They decide to charge us on any type of rentals coming back at us if we had to use it again just because they've been maintaining it? I don't know. All right. So do we have to do anything with that topic at the moment, or is this just kind of more of an informative?
Yeah, I think it was more of an informative sort of courtesy sort of conversation. If you had any concerns, then we would reevaluate or whatever the case is. But just wanted to bring it up to you and see if there were any concerns with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't see any concerns. Anybody else? Well, any old business? I don't see anything. We're gonna make this short and sweet today, gentlemen. And Sarah? No old business? Nothing? Anybody else have anything else to add for this meeting here on August 12th for the DDA? I'll make a comment. You don't want to put me in chairperson just because I ran this meeting the one time. If not, do we have a motion to adjourn? Now I start to see smiles.
I'll move.
Kate.
Bard will support.
All right, even though I know we all agreed to go out, I still have to do a roll call since that is a motion. Hall,
Yes.
Coon's absent, Moore's absent, Ozentowski,
Yes.
Ransford,
Yes.
Bardwell,
Yes.
Downing is absent, Ferris,
Yes.
and Bauer Schmidt's absent. All right. Well, you guys have a great rest of your afternoon.
Thanks, everybody.
Two. Everybody take
Two.
care.
Take care.